Hello, ladies. Hello, gentlemen. I hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about the Sandbox, why I absolutely adore the Sandbox, why it is one of my largest holdings in terms of the crypto gaming space. In fact, I think it is my largest holding, to be completely honest with you. I'm going to be breaking down why I think this game is so good. It is unreleased still, but nevertheless, I still think this is one of my favorites. And I'm going to be explaining exactly why that is. And hopefully, it's not just going to help you with this game specifically, but also, combined with my other videos, expand on what a good example of marketing, good utility, what it all looks like, what a good community looks like, so that hopefully you can make your own decisions. But as always, none of this is financial advice. This is all just my opinion, my experience. I'm just commenting as I am learning about crypto and applying what I already know about investing and trading into the crypto space. So I hope that you enjoy. I really, really do. Let's just get into it straight off the bat. So let me pull up TradingView quickly. And I'll just pull up a chart so that I can do a few bits of drawing here and there. So let's just go. Bear with me. I believe this was a video that I did earlier for my other channel. Yep, ignore all of the drawings. So when it comes down to the Sandbox, there are a few different areas that can be invested in, okay? Investable, just call them investable opportunities. So the first thing is land. Now, underneath land, we've got three different ways. At least these are the main ways to me of making money. Number one is capital appreciation. So that would be, you bought it at £4,000 and in 5 years it's worth £20,000. Okay, in the same way as if you bought a house or land in real life, in most cases, depending on the area. Next thing is land monetization. The equivalent is, you buy the land, you build a casino, you build a shop on top of it, and you make money through that business. Next thing is renting. Maybe someone else wants to start a business on your land, create a game on your land, just live on your land, whatever the hell it is. These are going to be the three main ways for me that land is utilized, very similar to the real world, hence all of the benefits of crypto gaming. NFTs, so in-game assets in particular, I'm talking about here. So things like skins, things like locations, not locations as in land, but attractions and stuff like this. And then the next thing is so capital appreciation, as the same with land. And the next thing is hype ability. Now, what on earth is that? Well, with NFTs, because it's an in-game asset, it's very hard to hype up land, okay? It's easier to do it if there's something on the land, but with NFTs, they hold more social credibility. Someone is much more likely to be able to get excited by an NFT. Obviously, the land in game is an NFT, but I'm talking more about the in-game digital assets, such as skins, weapons, particular builds and stuff like this. That has the potential, in my opinion, to be more hypeable and therefore make more money. But also, with hype comes risk. I talk about that all the time on this channel. Maybe I'm just sounding like a broken record, who knows? And number three is token. So again, this is the SAND token. This is what we see on the charts over here, right here. And so these are the three kind of main blanket terms or ways to make money, in my opinion, in the Sandbox. Now I want to transition onto why, forget the potential, why do I think this project is so good, especially considering the game hasn't been released yet. Okay, and so let's start listing off a few things and I'll explain as I go. Okay, so the first one is semi-proof of concept. What do I mean by this? Well, the Sandbox game was originally released in 2012. And off the top of my head, I believe 70 million worlds have been created and 100K per day are still being made. Now, whilst this game on mobile is not anywhere near the scale that it is going to be in 3D, the fact that it has already shown interest at that smaller scale is definitely a very, very good sign. And although the game isn't out and we haven't got utility like I talk about in a lot of my understanding hype type videos, that is a massive, massive thing for me. Okay. Next thing, amazing marketing. Okay, so I'm going to cover this in a moment because this kind of ties in with the rest, but tons of gameplay. This is really, really crucial. If you've seen my last video, I was talking about the importance of gameplay and how difficult it is to actually create a genuine game. Right here, we're on the Twitter feed of the Sandbox. So doing some land giveaways at the moment. But what I wanted to draw your attention to is, first of all, a lot of collaborations that have been coming. Okay, so Vulcan Forged is they have lots of games underneath them. It's not just one game, to my knowledge. And so, them combining and joining with Sandbox is just, again, another thing that's adding to the overall infrastructure of the Sandbox. This post I found incredibly interesting because what we've got here is we've got a child who is really enjoying the game. Now, of course, this could be relatively biased. I don't know whether this person is, related or, connected to the Sandbox in some way on the developer side, but nevertheless, it's very hard to get a kid to actually play something that they don't want to play. Okay. And so right here, we've got Future Master Builder in the training, showed my 6-year-old son how to build, and he couldn't get enough of it last night. This morning, Dad, I want to do the build thing. You will make a lot of money if you let me build. Okay. So very, very interesting, regardless of if it's not 100%, accurate or whatever, he looks pretty happy playing this, and it does really bode well because ultimately people are going to be the people that are using the game. And so if it's showing signs of adoption even before it's been released with the creator alone, then it just opens up the door for so many possibilities. Okay, there are a few other things here that I've seen. So again, this is some gameplay. I mean, I don't know about you, but this just looks awesome. Straight out of the box, it's kind of themed like cyberpunk by the looks of it. Which, if you don't know, is just is kind of a very big game for all the major gaming platforms and stuff like that. And you can just see there's so much gameplay here. It's different to a trailer. They're actually making gameplay. There's videos of them creating games, tutorials on how to create games within things. So in terms of utility and the fact they've already got a very, very big community, this, in my opinion, is a huge, huge, huge opportunity. Now, when you look at Sandbox in relation to the other tokens in the marketplace, so if we go to play to earn, of course, it's in the top 3. Now, when I look at the market caps, however, 2.247, and then I look at the market cap of something like Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity for me is kind of like a reference point because I think that if a very, very simple 2D game like Axie Infinity can take off the way that it has, imagine when you introduce all the features that the Sandbox is bringing, like land ownership, like NFT, in-game assets that you can use and blah, 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 and a more, 3D environment. I think it's like trying to compare just, chalk and cheese. That's a terrible analogy. I think Alex Becker's got a pretty good analogy for it. I think he says it's something like it's trying to compare like world of, God, now I can't think of anything. Typical. It's like trying to compare, I think he says Angry Birds to, Call of Duty. It's just incomparable. Okay. And obviously Call of Duty will have a higher potential because it is more immersive. And so for me, I really don't see a 5x on the Sandbox as being anything out of the question at all, because it would take us to about a similar market cap to Axie Infinity as it is right now. Okay, plus with all the users coming in the community, I really just see it being massively huge. And, especially with where the price is right now. Okay, we can see that we are entering a bit of a corrective phase. Whether we go up from here, who knows? Even if we come down lower, to be honest, that's great for me because I'm just going to be dollar cost averaging in because I really, really believe in this project, if that wasn't already obvious. But if we just look at it, you can just tell from looking at the opportunities that it's going to bring that Axie Infinity doesn't. You have a lot more of a kind of role-playing experience. You have your own avatar. You can do lots of different things. And another thing is I really like the fact that you'll be able to create your own experiences within game. Okay, so if you imagine and we go to the map right here and we look at all of the different pieces of estates and stuff like this, imagine so many different developers all building their own things on these pieces of land. There's going to be so much to do. Now that is absolutely critical because it means you're not going to run out of things to do. Different people are going to be creating stuff. And so it's not going to be like, okay, we've got bored of the initial game dynamics. Now we'll move on to the next game. There's constant opportunity for updates, improvements, and that is absolutely critical. Not to mention, it's got a great team, and overall it's just a fantastic game for me. One second, I'm just checking my notes. And yeah, so another thing as well is, when we're looking at things like DeFi, so whilst I know a little bit about, DeFi and all the technicals of these kind of bigger coins, for me, it's a lot simpler for me to look at the games and be like, right, okay, what makes a good game? And where do I see that in relation to the other games? Because I understand games, I understand what people want to play, and it doesn't take rocket science to figure it out. And especially the more, if you do get into game development or something like that, which I was talking about in the last video, which I am getting into massively, you really do have a clearer idea. Now, when you compare that to overarching huge market cap coins, for me, I just don't find it as interesting checking up on all the news updates and all of these extra additional things. I just don't find it that interesting, and like looking and going, okay, cool. Where does Algorand, whatever, where does that fit in with the overall picture? Like, it's easy to find out, but it's just not as exciting for me. And so for me, when simplicity is on the cards, it makes the entire process so much easier, because when it's simple, I can understand it better. And if I can understand it better, then I'll be on the right track. Absolutely. Okay. And so what is my plan with this? Okay. Okay. So for me, I already have a lot invested just in the token alone. Okay. I'm not going to tell you exactly how much, but it's a fairly significant amount. Okay. Now, for me, as I said, I'm going to be dollar cost averaging into the coin, whether it goes down, up, I really don't care. And my exit strategy is I'm going to roll the money out of that coin and into other projects if and when I see fit. But again, it is a game of risk management. There's always the possibility that it could fall through the floor for whatever reason. However, I think that's extremely unlikely. And so I'm just playing it fairly safe. Okay. I'm not trying to like over exaggerate and make everything crazy and, tell you it's just going to pop off. But I think on the upper end of the scale, if we are going to go into that discussion, is I really don't see 20 billion being off the mark, to be honest with you. Now, obviously, it does become a lot about predictions and forecasts and stuff that is really, a little bit futile to talk about. And so I'm not going to spend too much time there, because it's so easy to just make a video where you're like, oh yeah, I see this going to like 100 billion. And there's no grounding. I want to make it fairly realistic and medium term, at least, because, when you go too far in the future, it is just 90% speculation. Now, the next thing that I'm going to be doing in the next week is I'm going to be buying some land. So what am I going to be doing with this land? Well, before I get onto that, I want to quickly talk about the price of this land. So the cheapest land that I've seen is 4K to buy it now, unless you buy it at auction, but in which case, obviously, there's a lot of competition for that. And I believe that is equal to about $5.5 thousand. Now, that is a lot of money. Okay. It is a lot of money to buy some land, especially for a game that isn't out yet. And so it can be very, very off-putting. I completely understand that. But for me, it makes sense with how I've structured my portfolio, and that amount's absolutely, it's not too much of a damage based on how much I'm willing to invest in crypto. So just keep that in mind. It is expensive, but that doesn't really close off the opportunities either. To the best of my knowledge, I believe you can still create even without some land in the editor and stuff like that, and monetize it through that way, if that is something you are interested in looking into. Okay. Now, for me, in terms of what I'm going to build on that land, I'm thinking about, first of all, before I get into that, I'm thinking about, if I do build it, and if you guys want to see it, I think about just streaming a little bit of me making stuff on the game. I thought it might be a little bit more fun, instead of just, another guy talking about, how to invest in crypto on the internet. It might be a little bit more fun and engaging to actually, build a game. Maybe we'll build a game together, build a little community. I thought that might be a little bit more fun because, ultimately, there are a lot of videos about people talking about crypto at this point, and it is enough to give anybody a headache. And so that's pretty much it, really. I was going to make another point there, but I think I'll leave that for next video. But it opens huge doors for what can be built on the land. Things like casinos, just standard shops, etc. All types of things that we can build on the land. Roller coasters, I'm sure that's within the cards, and little kind of fun mini games and stuff like this. And it just opens a hell of a lot of doors. And so it's not just the token. I'm not just looking at this going, oh, this looks like a good game. The infrastructure of the game is something I like because it mimics the real world. And the real world model, whether we like it or not, really does work. And I'm not sure why anyone wouldn't like that. But there you go. But look, I'm going to stop blabbing on now. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I can't talk today. I deeply apologize. But yeah, If you have enjoyed the video, drop a like on this. And if you've got any content ideas, suggestions, anything you'd like me to break down, let me know in the comment section below and I will definitely get on that. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.